Welcome to H2O Croutons' True Crime segment, Shadows of Suspicion. I'm your host Alexis, and this is my true crime podcast that dares to explore the murkier corners of human nature. In each episode, together, we'll peel back the layers of mystery and deception to reveal the shocking details behind both unsolved and solved cases. Join me on this journey into real-life crime, where every whispered clue and every subtle detail builds a narrative that challenges everything you thought you knew about murder and mystery. Hello and welcome back to H2O Croutons. Sorry if I sound a little quiet. I'm recording this late, so I'm having to be a little quieter than I would probably normally be. However, I've been promising my mother that I would get this done, and I keep procrastinating on it because, people, ADHD, that's what we do. Ever since I told my mom about, wanting to do a true crime segment for the podcast, I already knew who the very first person I was going to talk about was going to be. Now, I feel like if you've never heard her name, you should. The woman I'm going to be talking about today is one that I actually respect very much. Her name is Marianne Bachmeier, and I know you're probably like, what do you mean you respect her? If you're, doing a true crime podcast, doesn't that mean that she killed somebody? Yes. However, I feel like once you hear and understand the story, you will understand why. You might not morally agree with it. I don't. However, I can understand why she did what she did, and I'm never gonna judge her for it. So, we're gonna go into a break, and then whenever we come back, we will go ahead and do just a very quick, brief background into what her early family life was like, and then we'll continue on to what her and her daughter's relationship was like. So, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Marianne Bachmeier's early life, childhood to teenagehood, apparently her dad was just a major drinker who ended up spending a lot of time at bars. Apparently there was a bar nearby their house that he liked to spend a lot of time at. And of course that caused issues like it would in most marriages, and her parents ended up splitting up. However, that didn't really work out for Marianne Bachmeier's favor because her mother ended up remarrying, and apparently her stepfather was worse, or just as bad, if not worse. She ended up describing it as him as a dictatorial stepfather. And eventually they ended up kicking her out of the house. Soon after that, 16, Marianne Bachmeier gave birth to her first child. And then at 18, she gave birth to her second child. However, she went through something really traumatic. I'm not going to mention it here, but maybe you'll understand what I'm saying. This child was not a product of it, but it happened shortly after the birth of her second child. So I'm going to assume, just because she felt like she wasn't ready, especially after something so traumatic, she gave that child up for adoption as well. However, she ended up getting pregnant for a third time at the age of 22. Her daughter, Anna Bachmeier, was born on November 14th, 1972. Now, she got pregnant by the manager of a pub that she worked at, and so Anna spent a lot of her time in her early childhood at a bar, at this pub, and she was described by others as a young, being treated as a young adult. Apparently she very much was a independent child, Now, and there was something I actually have a note for where it said that Anna frequently slept in the bar as her mother partied. So apparently Anna just basically didn't have much of a pleasant family life either. So going into that, we're going to take a small break and then we'll get kind of more into that later. Alright, we'll be right back. Welcome back. So, going into Anna and Marianne's mother-daughter relationship, it wasn't very pleasant. She was definitely the definition of a younger mother. However, it would definitely be wrong to say that she didn't love her daughter. She did. She very much did. And it was just her and Anna. Like, while she may have been, like, dating the guy that got her pregnant, there was never, like, they never got married. He was never really, like, in her life very much. Marianne pretty much took care of Anna on her own. I'm going to go into another small little break here, and then we'll be right back. This next part will basically be about why Marianne did what she did. There will probably be some parts in this that are triggering to those who are survivors of SA and things like that. So please just keep that in mind. A big part in this is the man that Marianne actually killed, who is named Klaus Grabowski. He was a convicted sex offender. I will leave that part alone. If you want to go and look up yourself, like, why, feel free. So, due to this, he did voluntarily get a chemical castration. However, he also secretly, I assume, I don't see how it wouldn't have been secretly, and I think I've heard before that it was secret. I could be wrong. I believe he secretly went under hormone treatment to reverse it. Going back a little bit, Anna was 7 by the time this all took place. It took place on May 5th, 1980. And I don't know if Marianne has ever explained what the argument was about, but they did have an argument, and Anna decided that she was going to skip school, and I believe she went to his apartment because she knew his fiance, and they had cats, and she liked to play with the cat. However, Klaus ended up abducting her, committed acts of, you hopefully get where I'm going with that, and then he ended up taking her life. From what I've also heard, apparently his fiance and him, he, I guess, had told her that he did it, and she helped him hide Anna's body. However, the fiance was also the same person to turn him into the police. Basically, just a very sick and twisted man. I don't know if I have to go into any explanation further than that. I'm going to try to give some opinion here, because if what I heard was true and she helped him hide the body, then she's just as sick and twisted, even if she turned him in. We will be going into a small break here, and then we will be back. welcome back. Now we're gonna go into like the biggest part of this, which is what Marianne Bachmeier did. Marianne was distraught. I mean, can you imagine your last conversation with your daughter being an argument, and she decides that she was so upset by it, she was going to go run away and skip school, and then that happens? I can't even imagine that. Like, I know they had a strained relationship. However, she's still a mom. She still loved her daughter. And because it actually hurt her so much, March 6th, 1981 was the third day of the trial. Now, if I'm correct, there's a movie out there. So I don't know which one is correct. I'm gonna assume it's the second thing I saw, although I don't know if that's an original picture either. There's a movie out there about this that obviously if you're going to kill someone in a courtroom, you kind of need to smuggle in a gun. In the movie, you see her pulling this gun out of a big trench coat, and I've seen differently, because I think there's a picture from when it happened that I saw recently, and it looks like she's just wearing like a sweater. So if she did smuggle it in, like obviously she had to have. I don't know how she managed it, but she ended up smuggling in a Beretta 70. She fired 7, ended up shooting him 6, and they killed him instantly. And then she was arrested, obviously, because she just killed somebody. If she wasn't arrested, I'd be shocked. However, she went with no hesitance. And whenever she was asked later about did she regret it, she did say yes. She said, "I did it for you, Anna." And that always just like pulls at my heart. I can't imagine being so angry at someone that you would take their life. However, a mom's love is just so different. Obviously, I'm not a mom, but I have seen how other moms are, including my own, and I respect her for doing what she did. And actually, I will go into the impact that this had right after this break. You would think that the public reaction would have been shock, maybe a little bit of fear. However, most were just utterly supportful. They supported her decision 100%. Her actions were supported with messages of support, flowers, just basically like anything to show that they understood what she did. She did what a lot of mothers would, I feel like. They respected her for it. I do as well. Now, she didn't end up getting charged, obviously. I mean, it's kind of hard. No, I wasn't in the courtroom and I didn't do that. You can't do that. So, she got charged. She was initially charged with murder. However, they ended up dropping them to manslaughter and unlawful possession of a firearm. She ended up being sentenced to 6 years of prison, but got released after serving 3, which is insane. That just shows that the court was on her side. And then later, after she got out, she ended up moving abroad. She ended up living in Nigeria. She ended up getting married. However, they ended up getting divorced in 1990. And she ended up moving to Sicily, then ended up going into hospice care. Not like her being in hospice care, but being employed as an aide. However, she did get diagnosed with cancer in Sicily, and she decided to go back to Germany. Whenever she passed away, she did end up getting buried next to Anna, which that again just like pulled at my heartstrings. I don't know. It's such a sad story to me. She died young as well. She died at 46. I feel like she is someone that should be respected, even if you don't morally agree. And I'll go more into my opinions here after this break. I will be right back. Basically, my final opinions are pretty much as I've already said. I heavily respect her. I don't agree with what she did, but I also understand why. Because I know that I would personally defend those that I love, and she wasn't able to do that. And she had that, I'm sure she had guilt from their last conversation being an argument. Maybe wasn't necessarily her fault, maybe, but it doesn't necessarily matter either. All that matters is that she clearly loved her daughter. She did what a lot of mothers would, as I've already said. I don't know, I feel like she is someone that deserves to have her name known, deserves to be spoken about, not forgotten about. I feel like it's also such an important lesson as well as basically why creepers, offenders, whatever you want to call them, should not be given that second chance. Because it's a very high statistic already that if you're a criminal, you're just going to continue leveling up. That's exactly what he did. And he even took the procedure that was meant to put that to an end and reversed it. He should have never been allowed to do that, nor should he even been allowed around children. I don't know. That's really all I have to say on it. Please remember their names because it's important to do so. Thank you so much.